beyond Libya, that's the real worry for the markets.
Well, what I want to understand is why the markets have reacted so aggressively to this in that case. If it's only about 1 million barrels that is missing from Libya, why have prices soared?
Because they're scared of what's going to happen next. Does this stop with Libya, or is the Persian Gulf going to get involved? If the Persian Gulf gets involved, then you're talking about multiples of the Libyan shortfall and much higher prices than we're looking at now, quite easily back to that $148 a barrel that we had at the peak in 2008.
The Libyan oil chief has said that production in Libya has dropped by about 50%, mainly due to the exodus of workers. How do you see that affecting Libya and its recovery post-protests?
Depends on how quickly they can bring it back into production. If we just lose this for a couple of months, it's not a big deal for Libya or for the world economy. If Libya is put out of production for an extended period of time, it's a major problem for Libya. That's where its revenue comes from. If it's not exporting oil, how do you feed people?
And that, in turn, I suppose, will feed the rest of the unrest in the region. And how concerned are you, would you say, on a global scale about the unrest we've been seeing in the region, its effect on oil prices, and what kind of an impact that would have in the financial recovery that has been underway and been, it's been stop-start all along?
Well, obviously, we worry that this could bring the economies of the industrial countries back into recession. If this spreads beyond Libya, and, there has certainly been rioting in a lot of other countries, whether it's Yemen, whether it's Iran, even China. If that spreads, then you could get much more disruption to oil supplies, and that obviously could bring prices up. $101 a barrel where we're at today is not a huge deal for the markets. Getting back to 148 would be a big deal, and going above that would be a really major problem.
David Rees, Chief Economist with Standard & Poor's, thanks very much for talking to us. The International Criminal Court says it will investigate the Libyan leader and his inner circle for possible crimes against humanity. Our correspondent Alan Fisher has been speaking to the chief prosecutor at The Hague.
The Office of the Prosecutor decided to open an investigation into alleged crimes against humanity committed in Libya.
Holding the Gaddafi regime to account, the International Criminal Court is now officially investigating all that has gone on over the past days and weeks. Hundreds have been killed in the uprising against the 40-year rule of Colonel Gaddafi, thousands injured. The chief prosecutor believes crimes against humanity have been committed.
The office will investigate who are the most responsible for the most serious incidents, for the most serious crimes committed in Libya.
This is just another step by the international community to put pressure on Colonel Gaddafi and Libya. The prosecutor believes his investigation can be complete in months, not years. He will then present his evidence to the judges, who'll decide if arrest warrants should be issued. And he sent a warning to the rebel groups. We're watching you too. The United Nations Security Council referred Libya to the ICC. The chief prosecutor believes there is enough evidence to dig deeper. He's highlighted several incidents and allegations of mass killings. The 15th of February in Benghazi, the 16th of February in Misrata, Al-Baida, Derna, Ajdabaya. On the 18th, again in Misrata, and the 20th in Tripoli and Al-Zawaya. Speaking to Al Jazeera, he highlighted what is under investigation.
Crime against humanity is a widespread attack against civilian population. So if you have security forces shooting civilians in a square who are doing a demonstration, this is a crime against, this could be a crime against humanity.
The prosecutor believes the rapid call to investigate marks a dramatic change, that the world will act quickly when people are being killed, and those behind it will face justice. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, the ICC in The Hague.
US President Barack Obama has made his strongest statement yet on Gaddafi. For more, let's cross over to Daljit Dhaliwal in Washington.
Divya, thanks very much. President Barack Obama said that Gaddafi should go immediately. But he said that the United States is still considering all options on how to proceed. Patty Culhane has more.
After more than a week of silence on Libya, U.S. President Barack Obama made it clear how he would like to see the fighting there end.
Colonel Gaddafi needs to step down from power and leave. It's time for Gaddafi to go. He must leave.
But so far, the president is more focused on getting the estimated 30,000 Egyptians and other foreign nationals out of Tunisia, where they fled looking for refuge, ordering military and civilian aircraft in to fly them home. As for Libyans, Mr. Obama says he's most concerned the violence now engulfing them will turn into a prolonged stalemate.
There may be situations in which Gaddafi is hunkered down in his compound, but the economy or food distribution systems in Tripoli, for example, start deteriorating. And we're going to have to figure out how do we potentially get food in there. So there are a whole range of options, military and non-military, that we're examining.
The option the U.S. Senate has been pushing is the implementation of a no-fly zone. One influential senator dismissing military objections that it could be a challenge. This as Pentagon officials confirm they believe the Libyan Air Force is engaged in the fight.
It seems to me that we could neutralize very easily a very antiquated air defense system with old airplanes and obviously not very good pilots fairly easily. And then that would help the people who are sacrificing their very lives as we seek.
Another senator says the president should be ready to take it a step
with arms if they need it to succeed in their revolution.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testified that they are a long way from making any decision on a no-fly zone. President Barack Obama says he wants the ability to respond rapidly, but gave no indication that he's going to do anything soon. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera at the White House.
And a quick update, AlJazeera has learned that the Pentagon has signed orders for U.S. military personnel to evacuate tens of thousands of people who are stranded near Libya's border with Tunisia. They're preparing to deploy C-130 aircrafts to fly the refugees to Egypt. The operation could start by next week. Now, Ali Oujali is Libya's former ambassador to the United States, and last week his credentials were withdrawn by the Gaddafi regime. But the U.S. still considers him the head of the Libyan mission in Washington. Earlier, he said that there must be a no-fly zone over Libya.
On the non-fly zone, this is a very important issue, because now Gaddafi, he is start to strike in east part and in the middle. And he, yesterday and today, he struck very important area, which is where the oil supply go to Europe and to the world. And then fly zone, that they will strike the strategic points which paralyze this regime, to allow the Libyan people in the east to march, to rescue their relatives, their families, who are suffering now under a very control of the army of loyal to the Gaddafi.
So why might the United States be hesitant about pursuing military action in Libya? My colleague Jane Dutton put this question to Hilary Mann Leverett, a former White House and State Department official. She said the reluctance comes from the military.
Secretary Gates, just 2 weeks ago in a speech to West Point, said that the next time a defense secretary advised the president